The house is haunted by the echo of your last goodbye. The house is haunted by the echo of your last goodbye. The house is haunted by memories that refuse to die. I can't get away from a vision that brings intimate glimpses of intimate things. A voice in my heart like a tart singer sings. I wonder who's kissing her now. The house is haunted by the echo of your favorite song. The place is cluttered up with roses that have lived too long, much too long. The ceiling is white, but the shadows are black. A ghost in my heart says she'll never come back. The house is haunted by the echo of your last goodbye.
In the lab late one night, when my eyes beheld an eerie sight, my monster from his slab began to rise, and suddenly, to my surprise, he did the monster mash. It was a graveyard smash. It caught on in a flash. He did the monster mash. From my laboratory in the castle east to the master bedroom where the vampires feast, the ghouls all came from their humble abodes to get a jolt from my electrodes. They did the monster mash. It was a graveyard smash. It caught on in a flash. They did the monster mash. The zombies were having fun. The party had just begun. The guests included Wolf, Dracula, and his son. The scene was rocking, all were digging the sounds. Igor on chains, backed by his baying hounds. The coffin bangers were about to arrive with their vocal group, the Crypt Kicker Five. They played the monster mash. It was a graveyard smash. It caught on in a flash. They played the monster mash. Out from his coffin, Drac's voice did ring. Seems he was troubled by just one thing. Opened the lid and shook his fist and said, "Whatever happened to my Transylvanian twist?" It's now the monster mash. And it's a graveyard smash. It's caught on in a flash. It's now the monster mash.
Good evening and welcome to the Haunt Hour with your host Dan Doble, Susie Fleesick, and Troy Crivello. Join us tonight as we talk about all things haunting and Halloween during the Haunt Hour.
Well,
I love it. I love it. That was so good.
yeah, except for that last little. If you notice, right when the Haunt Tower came up, the little girl comes up with her hands, and she's supposed to be behind the Haunt Tower logo at the end.
Didn't even
'Cause
notice that.
I didn't check. Well, see, I noticed because I edited the video, and I've been doing nothing but editing videos for the past like 3 weeks. So like I'm hyper focused on it, and I don't even know why that popped up on that part. It's supposed to be at the very end. So when you have like when you have like 15 tracks of editing lines, it gets kind of messy in there. So
I don't even know. Like, how long does something like that take you?
Well, this just editing all that because the main thing was already there. I just added these over the top of it, and it only took me about a half an hour, give or take, because I kept getting excited about new ones that I kept finding in my files. I was like, oh, I could put this, and I could put that there. I could have stopped earlier, but I didn't.
Yeah, that's impressive. I loved it. I was just like hoping there wasn't anything like really embarrassing on there.
It was just
because you were like literally what the viewers don't know is that I didn't know that was a new thing, and he announced it literally right before he pressed play. And he's like, "Hey, I have a whole new intro," and I got a little bit scared because our conversation offline was like about my gray hair, and I thought, "Oh my god, it's gonna be."
You don't have gray hair. What are you talking about?
But it's not. So yay! Thank you very much. I enjoyed that. It was very
because you're 31 and you don't get gray hair at 31. So yeah, I got you.
Yep.
But yes, I only changed the intro for certain guests when it sparks my interest. Last year I did the Star Wars Jamie Dole. It just kind of fit. Dan was super excited about seeing it. I was super excited, and I was like, I can add all kinds of Star Wars stuff to this, but I also don't want to detract from our guests either and be look what I did, look at me, but this fits our guests very well. So, and me making the edits wrong fits our guests too, because she's all about it. So, but yes, Dan is on special assignment tonight. He's taking care of business, so he'll be back next week. So we drug Susie out of her coffee cart and out of the Crawford School prison thingy mabobber that she runs. Well, that actually I run now because while you were gone, you said you were not coming back.
Yes.
And that I now own Crawford School of Terror. It's actually now called the Crawford School of Troy, which is even more terrifying.
I was going to say that.
It's way worse. And then Christopher owns the coffee shop, and it is now just called Christopher's Cake and Coffee. So, so you're off the hook. So you're good.
I am. Mm-hmm. I get to stay home. This is cool.
Right. Also, just keep sending me the money that you get from.
Okay. Absolutely. Well, I'm not working it, so there is no money.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it still comes into your account. We're not going to mess with the account stuff this year. We're just going to let you just give it to me all the time. Yeah.
Okay. Sounds like a plan. Remember, speaking of Dan being on special assignment, remember last year when he was filming a toilet and that was literally what he was doing?
Yeah, right. He's filming the toilet going the other direction now.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
That's definitely a special assignment. Yes.
So I think for my news, I think, and it's probably everybody's probably kind of seen it. If you're trolling around Facebook, you tend to see ads pop up, and I've been seeing a ton of ads for haunted houses hiring. Mm-hmm. So all over the country. So right now is the time if you want to work at a haunted house, a professional one, that you can pretty much any of them in any of your towns are hiring for something. Yeah. Whether it's in the office or it's in security, it's stage work or acting. And come prepared. Don't be bringing in a scream mask going, I can go like this. Come prepared. Be cool.
It's funny. We have we did something different this year at Crawford. We did like a casting, like an open casting call. We didn't want to call it auditions because we didn't want people to get freaked out. Okay. So we did 2 in one day, one at 9 a.m. and one at 6 p.m. We figured surely you could make one of those. It was on a Saturday. Of course, I requested all of my return actors to attend one of these meetings as well. And of course, excuses after excuses.
Of course.
Couldn't make it. So I was like, okay, I'll have one more. So I had another one this past Sunday, and it was at like 2 p.m. So I had two on a Saturday 2 weeks ago, and then I had one this Sunday. We had a lot of new actors show up, new people, which was very cool because I
Good.
remember years where we had like 5 new people. So we
Right.
have a nice listing of new people. So what we did was we had them come in and just like kind of tell them about us because I'm not the kind of owner that's like, okay, you're going to be working for me and this is what we want. Like, you have to kind of see if you want to work for us. I'm
Okay.
not going to assume because if you walk in the door, you might get a bad vibe. You might be like, these aren't my people. I don't
Sure.
want to be here. There's a million other haunts around us. So I want you to come in and get a feel for us and see what we're all about before you put your name on that audition sheet. So
Wow.
the audition is on Saturday. So we have a full audition schedule from 9 a.m. every 15 minutes until 8:15 p.m. It was going to stop at 8, but this girl is doing Ren Fair, like Renaissance Festival.
Oh
And
yeah,
so
those are
she's
going on right now
working
too.
there.
Yep.
And she's like, I'm not going to be there till like 8:15. Can I take the 8:15 spot? Which there really isn't an 8:15 spot, but I was like, you really want to do it? I'll
I'm gonna
stay.
make one. Yeah.
So that's how we're
Watch.
doing it this year.
She's gonna be like your most killer actress. Watch.
She's going to be amazing.
Watch. Yep.
Yes. And so that's how we're doing it. But we did tell them, like, this isn't a audition to see whether we want you or not. This is an audition to see what you can do. And I
Okay.
think that kind of like eases people's fears a little bit because it's like we've got actors, like, for example, the actor that I had last year in the swamp. I don't know what all he can do. Last year, it was his first year. We
Okay.
prefer in the swamp, like somebody in a morph suit, just kind of pop up, make some little noises,
Right.
skid across the floor, pop up. You're supposed to look like a bunch of people in one space. And we need somebody that's a little bit more limber that can do that. Well, I
Okay.
know he can do that, but I
Yeah.
have no idea what else he can do. So, like, I'm excited to see what these like veteran actors or these people that have been here 1 or 2 years, I want to see what they can do that they've never done before. So I've just been telling everybody, bring it. Like, whatever you can do. If you have a special skill or a special noise that you make or something, just bring that
Yeah.
and don't really audition for a part because I can't guarantee you're going to get that part. And I don't want your hopes to be like, I really want to be in this scene and then you don't get that. So that's how we're doing it this year. It's totally different. I'll have to let you know how it works out.
Yeah.
But
Definitely.
it's going to be fun, I think, for us. But when you said about the scream mask, like, funny thing, I actually did tell them, like, if you feel more comfortable auditioning in a mask, bring one.
Well, just not that one.
Not
Because
the
there's no
mask you're
place
gonna
in there.
wear. Yeah, like, we don't use characters
Yeah,
obviously like
right.
that. But like, I know, like, my son doesn't
Yeah.
feel like he can be scary unless he has like a mask on.
Oh yeah.
He doesn't feel scary in makeup. So, like, if you want to wear a mask and do some crazy thing, wonderful. You're not going to wear that mask in the haunt, just FYI. But
Right.
you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
so yeah, but it's fun. It's gonna be fun. I mean, I can't wait. Like, I keep thinking like of us because we're literally gonna be in the axe throwing room and we have like a bar, and then they're gonna be over there. So it's gonna be like a panel of judges.
Oh wow.
And I could just picture us like eating popcorn and like, how like the movies always like have like auditions and it's always like the worst people. And then at the
Right.
very end, this like really when they're about to give up hope, this
Right.
really good person comes in. That's what I'm picturing.
So next year, I think we need to do is since Ethan's not doing anything, I doubt he's watching, but since
Yeah.
he's not doing anything in the off season, he never does anything. He just sits around and does nothing.
Oh yeah, he's so lazy.
He
Yeah.
needs to build you one of those X's from America's Got Talent. So then, as you're going through, Troy can just sit
Yeah.
there, nah. Just-
Or the chairs from The Voice that turn us
oh
around.
yeah.
I like what I hear. Oh,
I
that
want you on
scream
my,
sounds
and
good.
then one of you can be like the apprentice or a Shark Tank. You'd be like, no, I want him in mine. No, I want him. I offer you this. See, you can make this super cool. You know what?
You really
Let's do that next year. I'm just gonna come to your town and I'm gonna film the whole thing. We're gonna make this awesome show. It's gonna be great.
Please do it. Just do it. It needs to happen. I have so much time, especially this time of the year.
Right.
Oh my God, all the time that I have.
Yeah, because I've got your video for the intro, right? Is that because you have all this time? So
I have all this time, and oh my God, that screen that's still in the package
It's
somewhere
still in
around
the
here.
package.
That, yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure.
Anyway,
Okay.
that's pretty much
Yep.
my news too, because like you kind of like
Yeah, we
you
segued
know
into it. Yeah,
talked about
yeah.
that, and we
Um,
segued, and that was my news because my
Sean
news
also says that he's been seeing a lot of fake ads
fake.
for Halloween props.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I will recommend to everybody, please report them, and say that they're spam or scams, things like that, fake selling, whatever the thing pops up on the thing. You can go
And
ahead,
designs, drawings and
what?
designs,
Huh?
drawings and designs. I know Chad Savage has
Oh
a
yeah,
big
oh yeah.
problem
Chad
with
always
that.
has those problems throughout. Yeah, yeah.
And
Um,
I actually saw a couple that I think were Halloween T-shirt company on this like Etsy page,
yeah.
which I didn't think Etsy did that. But yeah, report that stuff.
They
for
need
sure.
to start, and it's something I've been meaning to talk to Clint about, who Clint and Lori run that company, and I've been meaning to talk to them about it because I believe that Melissa Winton does it on hers for haunt shirts, but they put something in front of it so that you can't grab the graphic. Even though the
Yeah.
graphic is small, people are good with Photoshop and stuff, and they can
Yeah.
mess with things,
Right.
And the thing about Halloween Shirt Company is they're not only the ones that are making those designs. They make some of them, but they have Austin make some of them.
They
and some
do.
other
They have artists.
And
Yes.
so those artists put them up on their pages, and then
Mhm.
people might steal it from there as well. So
True.
all those parties involved need to do the best to protect it, but it's so hard to do that. I mean,
It's so hard.
we've all seen the distortions props that pop up every year that are $50, and all you get is this little,
Sure.
you get this little tiny thing that is not what you ordered.
Right.
I know some people ordered 12-foot skeletons that were like $50, and they literally were the ones you hang from your rearview mirror. And of course,
Was it 12 inch?
Yeah,
Was it
right,
12 inch?
right. And then you go back to complain, and the website's gone.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Usually within days of you ordering it, the website is gone.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you see it, you're welcome to tag the company in it. The more that people tag the company and say you can actually buy it from this company, the real company, that helps. Those companies that are they're obviously in China. They're not watching the comments for the most part.
Right.
You'll see it in the very beginning of the comments. You'll see them respond to a bunch of comments, and usually it's the fake reviews that they're responding to. So it's the same person, doing the fake review and then the thank you comment.
Right.
Sometimes they comment in the very beginning after they post it, but then after like a day, they drop off and they're not looking, so they're not going to delete your comment.
No. Take your money and run.
Yeah, and if you ever do buy anything off a Facebook ad, use PayPal or a credit card, because your debit card, your regular bank will not help you. They will not do it. PayPal will give you your money back, and your credit card can do that too with the fraud stuff. PayPal's probably the easiest. I've done it before where I've had to say I had fraud, and they give you the money back right away, and then they do an investigation, and if they can't get a hold of them, which they won't be able to, then they let you keep the money. So
Wonderful advice.
don't use that. Also, the other advice, because there's another piece of news. I just remembered this. I posted it in several groups the other day, but Anthony Powers from Texas, he also runs Cyclone Signs. He was staining some skulls, and he uses the oil-based stain on paper towels, and he was wiping them on there, and he threw it in a bucket. Well, oil-based stain can combust at any temperature.
Oh no!
It doesn't matter. It doesn't. It could be in the darkest, coolest spot, and it can actually combust and start a fire in that bucket.
Oh no!
Most people put those buckets in their garage, next to their house, next to their patios, whatever. They will combust. It could be days, but they will combust. And so the best method is to get one of those orange buckets or blue buckets from any of the stores and fill it halfway with water and just toss them in there.
Oh wow!
And let them soak up the water, and then just toss them later.
Yeah.
You could toss them a couple hours later, but same thing. Like what people do with fireworks. You got the bucket near it. You put the firework upside down in the bucket.
Did he have a fire?
No. He just remembered. There were a couple
Okay.
comments on his thing where people said, "Yeah, I had one. It started a fire in the bucket, and we were able to catch it." Most people have plastic buckets. You can get those metal buckets if you're doing this a lot. You probably want to get one of those metal buckets that you'll see in like warehouses and fabrication shops. And it is a metal bucket. It has a lid that goes over the top, and you have to push down with your foot to get it to open. Those are fireproof ones for that. They actually snuff out the oxygen from the towels as well. So they'll put like shop rags in there and stuff that have oils and all that kind of stuff on it from cars and things like that. But yeah, so if you're using oil-based stain in the bucket of water, don't burn down your houses, because all your Halloween props are in your houses, and that's it. Oh yeah, and your kids and your and your pictures and all that.
Yeah. All your valuables, all that stuff.
Halloween stuff first, then So yeah, so I think that's good. We did some PSAs, we did some casting, we did some, So
we're doing good things here.
I think we're doing good things. So I think it's time that we bring on our guest, and she is from the great state of Georgia, and we have Miss Tricia Toker.
Hello. Hey.
Hi there.
Good evening, not good morning.
Whatever.
I know.
Another hour or two, and you guys are going to be in the morning.
I can't tell you the stupid things that I say to people when I hand them their coffee sometimes. When it's like, enjoy, and then they'll say back like, you too. You know how like when you're in the drive-thru and you like respond because you're like, oh, and then you drive away and you're like, shit, I said the wrong thing. So really, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's like, enjoy your food. You too. I'm not eating.
I know.
Exactly. I always
did
say
that
see you tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like that's a mind thing. I feel like they're walking away from my trailer saying like, I have to come back tomorrow. So like, it's a marketing thing.
Yeah. That's actually what I do for my business, because I'm a courier, and so everybody I see, I say have a good day, and like the last customer, I'll say have a good rest of your day, because I'm not going to see him, but the ones that I know and I go to every day, I banter a little more with them, but I say it to everybody. I say have a good day. Makes me smile, makes them smile. I've had several go, that was really nice.
Oh my God, you're such a good person.
But
Troy.
that's also sad. That's sad that other people don't do that.
It is.
Like they're like, I haven't heard that in months. That's sad.
Aww.
It's very sad. I can
They're
see why
obviously
you're
not
moving.
in the South with the Southern hospitality.
That's what I'm saying. I can see why you're moving. You gotta come south.
Right.
Right.
Sean, I have told an officer, thank you for your service or that type of thing, or like I'm sorry, and I hope you have a good day, because cops have bad days sometimes, so.
You're just trying to get out of a ticket.
But you know what? Sometimes those cops remember that, and then when you get to court, they're like, I remember you. You said something nice to me when we left, and sometimes those cops will write that down, and they'll be like, when I go to court for this guy, I will work for him and try to get it to lower him and stuff like that, because he didn't give me gruff.
You're giving me all kind of tips today, man. I don't know.
Right?
These are like life tips.
Crying with a cop does not work.
I always cry because I'm a crier. Like, I'm scared to death. But I haven't been pulled over in probably 25 years. So there's that.
Now they just laugh at you.
They probably would.
Probably.
But I am also a grandma driver, so you need to know that about me.
That's true.
Yeah.
Right,
anyway, we're not here to talk about cops. Tricia, let's learn a little bit more about you.
Hey.
Yes. So I'm pulling double duty tonight. Susie will kind of ask you some questions as we go along, but I'm going to run the videos as well as while we're doing this. But so we kind of like to start off the show with, we want to know about you, and I mean that's what the show's about, is about you, and personally and professionally. So we would like to know, your first like experience with Halloween, what got you into haunting, as a kid or as an adult. If it waited till you were an adult, I don't know what your problem is, but whatever. We'll take you when you come. That's fine.
It's been forever. Trust me, forever. No. No, I mean, I think like a lot of people as a child, I loved Halloween, dressing up. And I know like a lot of people probably are like, oh, the candy. My best favorite memory of trick-or-treating is like trudging through leaves. I lived in Massachusetts at the time, and it was actually like cold. Like we looked like the Michelin Men under our costumes, like you either had to cover up the costume or become a Michelin Man under the costume. So, but yeah, that was my favorite memory. So much so, our previous house, I remember the neighbor, he blew the leaves away Halloween morning. And I was like, oh, like, how could you get rid of the leaves? Like, that was like all the little children, that was my memory. So yeah, that's right. But as far as decorating, oh gosh, probably like 2010, I think, like, because my husband and I, when we first lived together, was a townhome, and we had like 2 kids, and it was very sad. And so when we got like a house that there was going to be children, like we started to gradually progress each year. And then it blew up to the obsession it is now.
Right. So you because let me see, because I think the first real videos, because you started doing videos in 2019, right? Or did you do any? Because that's what I saw on your YouTube page, anyways. Was that you started uploading them
on YouTube? Yeah. So each year, so I was into photography for a little while, and on my website for photography, each year I would post like a recap video of the year for Halloween. But I didn't start the YouTube until 2019. Wait, was it? No, I think I started the YouTube last year. So,
not 2019.
Yeah. I don't even know what day, what year.
He's digging. He knows.
I do love your intro, though. Your intro is awesome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
That's the older one. So yeah, this is probably okay. So yeah, I did post. That was the year before. So the year I started it.
Yeah. So what made you think to go with so many projections versus the traditional, just tombstones and and just stuff in the yard?
I did start out that way. Like I started out with one, and then I progressed each year until I want to say the third year. I had so many Atmos FX decorations that I would spend so much time each night, like selecting all of them on the projector. And I would spend like 10 minutes selecting all these. I'm like, I got to find a better way to do this. Mm-hmm. So then it became like trying to pseudo sync the shows. I did that for 2 years, which was just layering clips in not After Effects, Final Cut Pro. I did that for 2 years. So 4 of the 10 sort of were synced. And this is where I was layering the clips so that like if the pumpkins were singing, the other parts of the show were quiet. But this even was a pain, like, right. because it was a lot of work to make it all work together. Plus I can only imagine what the neighbors thought every night, me running to each projector to like start it on time.
I still do that. I do that, right?
Yes.
I have like 6 in my yard, and I'm walking around the yard. I have a little practice to take.
I'm shocked.
You something, Troy.
Oh, I'm on it. One of my neighbors, he and he's supposed to show me this year. He turned me on to the wireless RF things.
What is that?
So what it is it acts like the remote. And so you program it on a tablet, and it literally runs your remote pushes in front of, you put that little disc in front of the projector or behind it, and it actually acts like your remote pushing it. And he literally has his tablet, and he's at 6 o'clock, he says, go, and 7 projectors all over the house and the yard turn on, and they go through the motions to select the files and to press play. And they do it all by just the tablet. And I'm like, oh my God.
That sounds like a time saver to me.
Right?
Yeah.
And I keep forgetting to go over to his house and have him show me. And I'm going to do it because I'm going to move, and he's not.
I was going to say, you better move before you move.
Yes. So once I learn it from him, I'm going to do a video so that everybody else can see it. But so that's what I was thinking you were going with, was that you had something that would go.
No, I wish. My God, that would have.
Right. I was like, where have you been, sir?
I know. But I might not have gotten into projection mapping if otherwise, because
True.
True. But I still want to know what that is, because I still have 10 other projectors that I need to like do stuff with.
So like in this video, you've got ones going in let's go back here for a second. So you've got it like here, well, they're blocking it, of course, but you've got several different projections in the windows. Is that all off of one projector, or is it all with projectors inside the house and stuff like that?
That was
On this
2019. So that was before I did projection mapping. So last year was the first year I did projection mapping.
Okay.
So 2019 and 2020 were the pretend synced shows. And they were.
So when you say that you sync these all together, how did you, because I know each one of these projectors has a USB slot. Is that how you ran them, or were they all ran with cables and stuff?
No, they were all their own individual USBs. So that clip that you showed that was Final Cut Pro that had like 4 different layers of Right. So I would place all of them, so timing wise. So if the pumpkins were singing, the ghost was doing funny faces, or if the garage was doing something with sound, then the pumpkins would do funny faces. But I had to position it all in this, each with its own. I would disable a clip, export it, and
that's what I was missing.
Yep.
Okay.
Disable 3 of the clips, or three of the layers, export 1 at a time, and then put that on a USB each night. Like, so I'd start at the garage, start that, then I'd go to the 3D form, count like 7 seconds, because that was like how long it would take me to run the things, and get it started. Go to pumpkins, do that 14 seconds, so that when it got dark, I'd run back through and start everything.
Oh, so you had everything offset by how many seconds it took you to get to each spot.
Yes.
That's
Wow.
And with all the cables,
I just go out there and,
with all the cables in the yard, I'm lucky I didn't bust my.
Right. I've got pumpkins on both sides of my yard, and so what I did was I originally had the files where they were mixed up, so they were never playing the same thing twice.
Mm-hmm.
But then I for some reason I didn't save that file, so I had the one, and so I put the other one on there together. So I literally had to sit there and wait for the right hand pumpkins to go through the first song, and then I'd go play.
Yeah.
So like sometimes it was like 6 minutes of waiting for them to go, and then I was like, okay, now go. And then after a while, I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna play them because people couldn't hear them on both sides, and I was like, nope, I'm just gonna play them at the same time.
So for somebody that doesn't understand any of this, which that somebody is me, would this mean that all night long this is what you're doing, or is this something you had to set up every night before you started?
I set it up. So those shows, actually even last year's show, I built them to be about, I want to say they're like 40 minutes, so that I don't have to it is not repeating the same thing over and over again. So because my neighbors do end up they have some younger children that they call it the show that they'll watch each night. So they'll watch before bed.
Oh yeah.
But so I will start at the one time, and then once it gets through the 40 minutes, it loops and it just starts over. So I don't have to restart it.
Okay. Because here's me picturing you running around, not being able to talk to anybody because you're pushing buttons.
I'd probably never.
I don't understand any of that.
No. Now, on all, because you have it set up in yours where if you do the USB, that's the one file that's in there, right?
Correct.
And then it just plays that, because I know some projectors will not do the auto repeat unless you hit the button on the remote if there's more than one file. So then you have to select that file. So I learned that really, really hard on, because I had Christmas files on the Halloween drives as well, because I would do both, and I'd just leave it on there. So all of a sudden, I'm walking in my yard. Why is Santa here? It's Halloween. This is crap.
I know.
Oh, I didn't hit repeat, and then I was like,
great.
one file per projector. And I was like, got it.
Great.
So now I have a bag of USB drives.
Well, even what I learned, because I was before I made one continuous file with these different clips, I was just selecting them each night. It took too long.
Yep.
But if you put your Christmas in a folder and your Halloween in a folder on that USB, then it's only going to loop in that folder. Sometimes sometimes it works. Sometimes it gets a little screwy, but hopefully most times it works.
Yeah. I have 7 different brands of projectors in my yard. So it's
I
have all these remotes. I got to have an apron with my remotes. I'm like,
That was the other thing I did. Like the garage, the door, and the pumpkins were all the same brand of projector. So I'd have the same remote.
Yep.
So I only had there was only one other projector that wasn't the same. So I only had 2 remotes that I had to do that with because the 3 were the same. So that's a handy tip.
Yeah, right. Yeah, try to buy all the same projector.
Yes.
There is, and that kind of goes back to that smart IR thing that I will put that up on our pages. But is that it comes with a remote program that you can use, and so you can program the remote. So you have a universal remote. So if your tablet has an IR on it, you really could almost use your tablet for all those remotes and program them all in. But then you have to program each button because every one of those has a different button for what it does, and all that. But I think projection mapping is the way to go, though.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, even if I do, so the projector I use for the projection mapping takes up about where this year I was still doing regular ones. It takes up about 6 projectors did here. The other 4 are doing other things. Like I have one in the car, the Eerie Eyes that's in the back of my car. And the pumpkins move out to the yard on Halloween because I use the garage on Halloween night, so I can't use it for the projections. So I have to switch out a few things. The one downside, there's downside to everything, but with projection mapping though, is there's a cone of projection, so I can't put as many decorations in the yard now. It's don't see, you can see there, I have to have a space for it. So, but
because it'll hit them. See, I'm following along.
Yeah, see, because how she had a bunch of stuff that was up by the fence.
I see.
Up here, there used to be a bunch of stuff right here.
Yeah.
Now it's all up here and all up here.
Right.
Yeah. And the skeleton, the year before, I had the skeleton up by the house. We had to figure out where to move it. So it hasn't stopped me from buying stuff, which you would think it would, but
right.
Hopefully my honey's not watching.
Yeah.
He knows though. He's with me all the time. So
tell us about your show. When do you run your show? Is it Halloween night only? The week of, the weekend?
I try to start whether it was the projections 2 years ago or projection mapping last year, I try to start at the end of the first week, but it's usually more the middle of October. So the 12th or so, because I want to, and so here, this is before Halloween where I can still use the garage, and I will run that as long as I can. I prefer this show, but obviously it has to change on Halloween. So anything that's in the garage, I move. It's the same show on Halloween, but anything that's in the garage, I move to the office window, which is above the pumpkins. And then the pumpkins go to the yard too.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So I switched out the show, but it's the same show except for those things move out a little bit.
I see. Okay.
And they just shift. But
yeah. So what goes into, and I think I have the video of that as well. So people can do what all goes into creating a projection mapping show? Where do you start? Because a lot of people are just really I don't know how to get my house on the program,
Yeah. Well, fortunately, so last year when I started in January because I wasn't sure if I could do this.
Right.
So I started in January. I researched how to build the shows. So first you have to map your house, which is basically doing the outline of your house. And then you can use various softwares to do that, but I do mine in Photoshop. So building that line of your house, and then you have to create masks. So basically all the surfaces where you're going to put the projections, the various things of your house. I did that in Photoshop.
Okay.
After that, you use whatever editing software you're going to use. I use After Effects. I know some people use DaVinci Resolve. I haven't tried that one, but After Effects is quite a learning curve.
Yes. It scares me still. I'm good with Photoshop, but After Effects, I'm like, I'm just gonna go cry in the corner.
That's why I started so early, because I'm like, if I can't do this, I don't want to, like, I don't know. I started early. One, to see if I could do it. Two, I didn't know how long it was going to take me. So I worked on it from January until April last year. And then I took a little break, and then I picked back up in August and worked on it again through October. So it's no joke, but the end result is so awesome. So I apparently got a little bit better, because like for all that time, because my husband at Christmas, like even though we both are really into both holidays, like I'm the Halloween one and he's like the Christmas one. And he was like, you can just throw a little show together for Christmas, right? I was like, it took me like 8 months. I got 3 weeks. What are you talking about?
Right.
But over the course of, I think 3 weekends, I've put together our Christmas show. So I actually learned stuff, absorbed, and I got better. So
that's so cool.
I thought this was the other thing. Like, I have a brown house, so a lot of people, like, getting into it, I thought I was just going to do like the surfaces, the garage, the windows. I didn't think I'd get to do anything on my house because of it being brown. So I thought I'd do like that one thing where things were flying about. I didn't think I could do facades. And that was one of the things that I learned pleasantly, that I was able to do, as long as they're a different color. Like at Christmas, I did a gingerbread house. Well, a gingerbread house doesn't look like anything on a brown house. It looks like, so that I learned, don't do similar colors. But if you do something like purple, red, it'll show up nicely. And I like these. These showed up pretty cool.
Yeah. So when you know, because I know that Atmos makes their stuff really more geared towards the budget haunter, that you don't have to have an expensive projector to make their projections look nice.
Yes.
Is there anything you do to the actual files in like any of your programs to make them, like I saw the Halloween window, and I know that that's supposed to go on just a little window. So did they make it so that it could be that big, or did you distort it? Because it looks super crisp though too. So
well, that's the deceiving thing. Like, one of the things that I had to be okay with, is it's really not as crisp as I thought. This is going to be huge. It's going to look amazing. And then in shrinking down those high-res files to like fit a garage door, and then like projecting them really big, like the pixels, it's not the same kind of, and so me standing up close, I'm like, oh my God, this isn't as crisp. Like, I have this awesome projector. Like, why doesn't this look fabulous like it did in my garage door last year? And I talked to a couple different people in the projection mapping groups, and they were like, no, you got to like be okay with that, because at the end of the day, nobody's going to be right up at your garage looking at this. They're going to be on the street.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they're not going to see the detail that you see, or see the things that you're missing. So I was like, okay. And so after a while, I kind of was okay with it. It's still hard, because you think you're going from a $50 projector to a $2,000 projector. It's going to be amazing, but so there are details that you don't always, I didn't know getting into it. But when I asked around, because I thought something was wrong with the projector. I was like, why do I see all the pixels? Like when I play around on my dining room wall,
Right.
But.
And I do like how when you were making it, there is I'm gonna say that's an alcoholic drink right there, right? You have to have that.
That might have been tequila, maybe.
Yay! All right.
The other thing is water, though. I swear to God, it's water.
Right. It's totally water. It's for that point in the night where you're like, I have been out here for 3 hours and it still does not look how I want, and I'm done.
I mean, for real though, like, so that's why a lot of like that is, if you're going to try to get into it, to do it in the winter months, if you can tolerate the temperatures, because like right now, if I were to try and projection map now, I'd have to go out there at 9 o'clock at night, and it does take a lot of hours,
Yeah.
So at least at January, when I first started, it wasn't as cold here, but it was more like 5-6 o'clock.
Yeah. So then when you're done doing a section of it, you take it outside and you test it, and then you bring it back in and then edit it again.
Yeah, because there were things that I realized, at least with my Christmas show, that I had words on there for the Grinch, and like they were on like the awning, or not the awning, but part of my house where you couldn't even see the words. So I'd go out there and then I'd have to redo the show and push everything up so like I could actually see words and stuff. But yeah, I played around with it quite a bit. These are all the things that I put in the box.
So these videos that you do are kind of like a how-to for other people, since we can't hear it.
Yes. Right. Yeah. This one is all the stuff that I use like inside the box. So that is how to do the audio. So that's the one thing I was just holding. It's an FM transmitter. So you can either do an FM transmitter so people can drive by and listen to whatever FM station you have it programmed to.
Right.
Or I do both speakers and the FM transmitter. So that pumpkin's actually a Bluetooth speaker.
That's
we have a guy
FM transmitter. I've seen bigger ones on like Amazon.
Yeah, there's some that are like really big. That one's like just handheld. It's really cool.
And so that goes just like to like 5 or 6 houses away from you, or how far does that go?
It says on the, like I drove because I wanted to make sure. So I drove down my street, and that was probably about, then I started getting some static. So not too bad.
Yeah.
Because
we have a guy in our town that does that for Christmas. He doesn't do his house like you do. He has like objects that like, you know, play the Christmas music and sing, you know, their little mouths and stuff. But he doesn't do his entire house. Like it's not as impressive as what you do. And he does like the FM transmitter where you pull up and then he takes like canned good donations, but it's just a Christmas thing. He doesn't get into Halloween, but yeah, it's the same idea, I imagine. But the lights, the actual Christmas lights, like dance with the music too. Yeah. So he has like that going on, and it's fun. I like Christmas. I like Halloween better. I wish he would do something for Halloween. I don't think their family's into Halloween, but I just don't think they are. But he will talk about, we're in Pennsylvania, so it's not nearly as hot as where you are, but he'll talk about like in like May how he's out there doing stuff, you know,
for Christmas.
Oh wow. Yeah, but I don't think he's doing like, I think he's just like going out every once in a while. I don't think he's like putting the time and the effort in it that you're doing, because it obviously I've seen it and it doesn't look anything like this. But the neighbors have allowed him to like expand into their yard. So he's got like a bigger show now.
Yeah.
And like the mayor lives on one side and it's like this big ordeal up there. But yeah, I think Halloween would be amazing. But my town's not real big on like the home haunters. It's funny because my town doesn't have that. And it's funny how certain towns, because we've had different, you know, like guests on the show who will say, yeah, there's a guy down the street, there's somebody across town. Like we don't really have that. We have people that decorate, but we have the people that take, you know, go and buy whatever they can and just stick it in their yard. It has no theme. It just kind of like goes. And then we do have like a Halloween decorating contest where somebody goes around and judges. One year the mayor picked us to like judge, and we were like, what the hell is this? But we had fun. We were like, oh, this is nice. You know, we gave them like tickets for the haunt as part of their prize. But they put like signs in their yard, like scariest, and you know.
I wish someone would. I always tell Jeff, there was this one Party City commercial years ago where I think it's like to the song, anything you can do, I can do better. And it was two neighbors that were competing against each other. And that's, I just want someone to, I'm not saying like, I just want someone to play with me, you know, like you know?
Yeah. So you don't have like your neighborhood or your town, like nobody gets into Halloween like you do?
Not in my neighborhood. I want to say they're like, because my neighbor across the street, you know, I assume because they tell me like how much candy and stuff they get that, you know, like if I'm doing it and we get a lot of kids, like I will bag up candy so I can count it. so I can count how many kids I had. So
Right.
and usually we get about close to 200. So I assume like people in my neighborhood do stuff, but she tells me like really they don't. And there was last 2 years, there was one other house that did like a Ghostbusters theme. So I got all excited because, you know, somebody did something, but
of course.
So
I mean, I guess our town is like into it because we like our biggest parade of the whole entire year is the Halloween parade. And they give out like prizes for like best, you know, group and scariest and funniest, like things like that. They're not really judged well because like the people that have the prizes are standing like in the middle of the parade route, just handing them out. So like, I don't know how you can judge that if you haven't seen everybody yet. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we always notoriously are in the back because we always forget to sign up for the parade until like 3 days before the parade. And so they just add us onto the back. So we never win a prize, which makes me laugh because I'm like, here we are. We never win anything because we're last and they've given all the prizes. That's all we can figure. They've given all the prizes away. And plus it probably wouldn't be fair that like a haunted attraction wins, you know. But everybody comes out. I mean, we have like 7,500 in our town. So it's not a big town, but everybody in the town comes for this parade. Like it's amazing how many people are on the street.
I just wish more
it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. I mean, I remember when we went to Boston and Chicago one year for our anniversary. Our anniversary is October 23rd, so near Halloween. Nice. And I was so excited because even in restaurants, they had Halloween decorations. And down here in the South, it's like,
they don't do that.
You're like, sometimes I think you're Satan. So it just, it's just a different, you either get people that love you or people that are like,
On that map, like I think it's Scare Factor map of all the haunts. I'm sure Troy can pull it up real quick. I think Ohio has the most amount of haunts per state, and then PA is like right behind. I bet Georgia doesn't have that many.
I don't think they do. And I mean, we got Netherworld, and like nobody else like can compete with that. You know?
It's interesting because like we not only have a lot in PA, and PA is a big state. We have a lot in our area. Like we have a haunt 15 minutes away, and then we have several within an hour. Like several.
I would love to. That was one of the things. Like we used to always go. Myself and my group of friends go to haunts like when we had time. Now I don't really have all the time in October, but we used to try to at least go to more than one a night, and it was almost impossible to do because they were so far away from each other. Like it wasn't. So I would love having one 15 minutes away from each other.
It says you have 42.
Yeah.
That can't be.
And look how big your state is compared to PA.
Right.
Like 103.
Well,
holy crap.
So like for Oregon, it says there's 29. I know that for pro haunts, there's maybe 15. There are a bunch of these are home haunts or pumpkin patches. And you know, so these aren't only pro haunts. These can be home haunts, they can be mazes, they can be, you know, the amusement parks have haunts, so they'll be on there too. Anybody can put their haunt on Scare Factor, whether it's a display or a walkthrough at their home or anything like that, you know, and then the pro haunts as well.
Yeah.
I need to check that out.
More towards the pro haunts because they have teams that go out and review them and stuff like that and put up really good reviews. We actually use the Scare Factor to determine where my terror tours are going to go each year. And so, like when we decided we were going to go to Texas, we started in Dallas. I was like, okay, well, I need to know what haunts are in Dallas, and so I went to their site. I looked at them all, and I saw where they were, and got to read a little bit of reviews, and it was a very easy access for me to find it. So the Scare Factor has it really down with where, they're a good repository of where all these haunts can be, but they're not all pro haunts.
I need to check
but
that
your
out.
state's pretty big though too.
That is true. They're probably all in Savannah, my luck.
Probably.
There probably are several in there.
I say it all the time. My area is like the perfect place to have a haunt tour. You could literally hit. I mean, if you have VIPs, you could probably hit 4 in a night.
See, that would be amazing.
You could do probably 8 in a weekend. Honestly, It's crazy how many are
Well,
so close.
George, message or make another comment and say where in Pennsylvania.
Where? Okay,
Pennsylvania
George.
is big.
Pittsburgh area.
George,
area.
So I was actually going to ask you, Susie, and it's completely off topic, and we'll get back to Tricia in just a second. What side of Pennsylvania are you on?
I am in the southwestern part of the state. So Pittsburgh, Pittsburgh's north of me. I am very close to West Virginia. I'm about half an hour from West Virginia. Actually, south of me is Rich's Fright Farm, which is literally almost on the border of PA and West Virginia. So Fright Farm, which is, I think they are now saying they're the biggest haunt in the state. I saw that. I want to say in their ad for hiring actors, I think it said the biggest haunt in PA, largest haunt in PA, because they do.
They also say they're the scariest haunt in PA.
No, that we say that. That's what we say. No, I'm kidding. We never say that. We never say that. No. So we are. We're in a little town called Connellsville, and 15 minutes away in Uniontown is Haunted Hills Estates.
Oh yeah.
They are closer than on the way to Rich's Fright Farm, and that would be south. If you're going up towards Pittsburgh, there's 100 Acres Manor, there's Scare House, there's Kennywood actually, which is a amusement park, and they do Kennywood.
I was gonna say, is that like Dollywood? But Kennywood.
Yeah. Right. They do like Fright. I think it's Fright Nights is what it is. Kennywood Fright Nights. They have like several haunted houses in there, and other things people go to, and it gets very crowded. I've heard bad things about like the lines though. We went to the very first Fright Nights at Kennywood when they first did it, probably almost 20 years ago, and we waited 2.5 hours for each haunt.
Wow.
And there were 3, and we didn't get to do the third one because the park closed. Because they only open, when it's nighttime. So, but Kennywood's an option. There's Castle Blood in Monessen, which is about 40 minutes from me. Close to Castle Blood, within a 5 or 10 minute drive, is Demon House. We also have Allen's Haunted Hayride. Allen's is about 25 minutes from me. It's the oldest haunted hayride in the country, I believe. So Allen's, they also have a small haunt as well that they just opened a couple years ago. It's a haunted hayride and haunted tavern, I believe they call it. Oh God, I'm probably missing somebody, and I feel bad if I am.
I mean, the map is it's almost covered.
It's literally
almost completely covered. Where Georgia had like Atlanta, and then some on the freeways. Like it just trickled out from Atlanta on the freeways.
Right. Multiple haunts. What does that mean? Yeah. Multiple? Oh, in one location. Okay.
Yeah. George,
there used to be one.
This, for George, anyways. This is. I will put it on there for him. I don't know which one he's on. He's probably on the Hunt Tower one. This is probably the best way for you to find out where you're going to go is to go to the Scare Factor and look at the area you're going to be in.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
And I say that for everybody. If you're going to visit places, George doesn't know yet, but I'm actually going to be in Chicago again this year at the end of the month, at the end of October. So I will be back to see more Chicago haunts. But the other thing I will say that it's not set in stone yet, but the Terror Tours are going to be relocating the Seattle tours to a different state. Hint, hint. Susie.
Oh, wait. I'm like, you're moving to Texas, so are we talking about Texas?
So we're gonna have the Dallas
Everything's about Texas.
Pennsylvania is on our very short list. So
I thought it was Texas too.
It is. Well, I do 2 different tours. I do one, this year we have Seattle and Dallas, and we're gonna move the Seattle one away, and we're gonna move it to another state. So for probably several years. So, yeah.
I better up my game.
You better because if
I'm hiring Ethan.
You're
Ethan,
hiring
if
Ethan,
you're watching,
but
which
he's
not.
he's a haunted web. He can't.
You gotta quit working for Jeremy and get your ass back to PA.
Right.
I need you.
Let's see. You're working on your new one for this year, and you haven't done any videos for it yet about what you do. Are you doing? Because I noticed when you did a little bit of Stranger Things, but you didn't put it in your video, right?
No, because I'm just starting to. I was preparing for the show, and I was not working on my show. But but no, I did start working on that because like a lot of people will do like a solid just theme for their show and do it like 5 minutes or so, and I don't. I do like snippets of various things. And so with the Stranger Things, that's probably going to be an intro since it mentions Toker Manor. And then there's some, there's another, not just Atmos, but there's, what is it? I think it's Hollow FX. He has
Hollow FX, there's Spectral Illusions, there's High Res.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hollow FX has, it looks like a Demogorgon. So I'm going to try and do like an upside down with my house and then have like a quick Demogorgon looking thing like screaming, and that'll be the intro, and then it'll go into some of my existing show. Because I make all those different clips and then make it one continuous show, I haven't decided like if I'm going to take away or if I'm just going to add to it, because I have a hard time breaking up with there you go, yep, that's it.
Yes, he does. That is cool.
Yep,
That's awesome.
he's got some really good stuff. I think it's a father and son, and the skulls that the skeletons climbing up was one of my favorites last year. Everybody loved that too. They have a spider. They've got some good stuff.
Yeah, between them and Spectral Illusions, I like them for the individual things that I want to do, and then I use Atmos to fill out the rest of it. But I love that there's more than just Atmos and high res designs, because high res designs is really expensive stuff, but it's really well put together. And I kind of feel like high res designs is for the pro haunts, because they're looking for a very specific crisp look, where Atmos is a little more cartoony, a little more rounded corners and things like that. And it's not, they really don't, I mean, they have some scary ones, but the majority of their stuff is PG, PG-13 type stuff. But I like that there's all the different types of options, that you can do. And I like that Hallow and Spectral is basically, it's just $10, and you get that design, Atmos is a little bit more, but you also get a lot of different files with it. You get different versions, you get, different colors, like for their fire, you got like 4 different types of fire, and then you got 4 different colors for those. And then you got different types, how the fire reacts of those. And it's like, wow, they said for their newest one for Spectral Illusions, for the Spectral Signs.
Yes.
They said there's 128 different ways to use this.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
And I'm trying to figure that out. I'm like, okay, so yeah, you've got the where you've got the different colors, and you got the hands, and then you got the feet, and you've got, but it's also how these, that one has the UV, and that one has the regular and the lightning and stuff like that. It's definitely
what I think I might do with that one is somehow intertwine it with the twins from Ghostly Apparitions. I think there's 2 or 3. I think that they would be like a good little, with hands or feet and something with the twins.
Yeah, and these footprints would be cool to put down, like if you had a pathway in your yard or on your like you had like a sidewalk going through your yard, you could project it from above and have the footprints going along with people as they're walking and stuff. They really do come up with with some really cool stuff, and I know they've got a new stuff coming up this year. So far, they've only done one, which is ironic that it's August, and they've only shown the one so far that they're doing. But they've got the Grim Reaper and the Headless Horseman, which a lot of people have been waiting for.
Oh yeah,
and then this was just today was the Pumpkin King.
I'm curious to see what they're going to do with them though.
Right.
Yeah.
This one I'm really looking forward to, because I think that'll look cool. As long as they obviously they need to have a horse, obviously,
Well, he can't talk, I wouldn't think.
Right. And I like that they're not going, and maybe they will not going with the Ichabod Crane with the pumpkin.
Yes.
This is more. This is more what I would say is like Haunted Overload, because they have a headless horseman and he's more medieval than he is. He's definitely this look. That screams Haunted Overload to me. And they've done several different Reapers, but this one with the lamp, I think the lamp will add a lot to it. So I think that'll be cool.
Yeah.
But I know that let's see, it's 7:06. Oh, it's 10:06, right? 10:06. So I know that we talked about it a little bit last week, but I did want to talk to you about it. That you're here after watching your videos and watching what you do. I talked to Christopher, who runs the Home Hunter Video Award, and I said, hey, we need to think about doing a projection part of the award show. And we either try to figure out one of the categories that already fits into. And I was like, okay, well, we could do motorized because the projector does have a motor and it's got a fan, and it's got a bulb and stuff like that. I was trying to figure out what in it.
Right.
We can figure out that's motorized. And I was like, the item moves, that, the things move. So we thought, okay, we could do that, but then would that create too much in that one category? So then we thought, okay, well, why don't we just make a whole category by itself? Because we have enough people who do projection mapping, and we have enough people that do just projections in different areas. And we kind of showed with Wicked Makers, they made that big portal, and I know that you had made, let's see, I know I have it here, because you did this with your, I hope this is the one. So you made, we won't go over the making of it here, but.
Oh, the crypt or the tombstone?
This is the tombstone, I think. But yeah. So you used the crypt to elevate the pumpkins, which was cool. So, and is there any projections on the tomb itself?
No.
Okay.
But now you're making me think I should. The tombstone does. Yes, the tombstone does. The tombstone was leftover material, so it was kind of like a afterthought that actually worked out fabulously.
Perfect. When you do the tombstone, some people will leave them white. Do you still paint it gray, or do you leave the area where the protection is going to be as white? Yeah,
that was painted just like the crypt was, so it's gray, and then it was some like green and gold dry brush effects to it.
Oh yeah, okay. Okay.
And we cut like the sides into it with the foam thingy, foam cutter.
Oh yes.
But yeah, that was 2 years ago. I didn't even use the tombstone this last year. I got so busy, but I did use the crypt because, like I said, on Halloween night, the pumpkins come out to the yard, so everybody can see them up close.
Yeah, I've been where you are right there in that video. I have done, because last year was my first year that I did a projection on a tombstone, and I think I just left it white. I painted the sides and I painted the back and then the base, but I left it all white because I wanted nothing else to detract from it. But then I thought after I put it up, I was like, okay, but during the day it's a white piece of foam.
That's true.
And I was like, so this year I'm gonna have to put like a light thing of gray on it. Obviously not detract from it. But, because the one that I used had a tombstone look to it. So it was a tombstone projection, and then it's from Spectral Illusions, and the hand comes up and grabs it, and the flowers will wilt on it and stuff like that. And so I was like, well, it's already got a tombstone look to it, so I don't need to paint a tombstone on it. But then I realized during the day, so I'll paint it gray. But that was one thing I wanted to ask you, was if you painted it or not. So.
Yep, all of them. And thank God this was last year, was it last year? No, last year was, so the year before is when I did all this. So before foam quadrupled and.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Oh,
yep.
Yep.
Yeah. So, and then, so we will show, because obviously there's, hours of information we can give to people on this. So kind of going back with what you use, why it's not sharing. That's great. There it is.
Well, I'm excited about the projection category because there are so many, I'm proud of what I do, but there are some people actually Moreno Manor in California.
yes.
Like she just did like her own Gremlins thing at what was Midsummer, what in the Hall of Shadows thing, and I was like, oh my god, it was amazing, fabulous.
Yeah. And the way that we're going to basically kind of do it is that we're not necessarily going to look at what projection you used, it's how you used it. So, they built that big portal. You built the tombstone. So it's how you use the projection, not what the projection is. It needs to fit. Don't put a clown on the front of your tombstone. That'll look weird. So that will allow somebody who's maybe not into projection mapping to still have a chance to win. Because, I was worried. I was like, well, yeah, okay, but how can somebody with a little projector on the pumpkins is going to compete with somebody who projects over their entire house? And I'm like, but it's how you use it. So while you project over your house, what does that do? What does the rest of it look like with that projection? There are some people who literally just projection map the house, and there's nothing in the yard. There's nothing else. It's just the house. And I see that more for Christmas than I do Halloween. But so did you projection map, and then you also used a bunch of stuff around the yard to add to it? Like you have depth because you have the pumpkins in the yard. You have the tombstone. So so you went further out. So we're gonna. We'll see how it goes this year. We always put the category out, and then we see how it works and how many submissions we get, and and then of course how hard it is to judge. But
there's some good ones out there, trust me.
But yeah, your haunt and Merino Manor were the ones that made me talk to Christopher and say we need to do something like this, because this is another aspect of haunting that a lot of people enjoy doing, but not everybody does. So it can be a little more, drilled down to some people. It's like I don't do anything with pneumatics. They scare the crap out of me, and I don't have place to store this giant scissor mech and all the stuff that goes with it, and the big air compressor tanks. So I'm fine with static and some motors, but this I can get behind. Where other people, this could be really scary to get into, so.
And it's intimidating, but like, I hope like one day when we're not like, cause getting everything out on Halloween is exhausting. So one day when we're not like doing all the yard, if I still only have projection mapping, I will feel like I still have a, better than anybody on my street. If anybody's watching on my street, don't take offense to that.
So Leanne asked if any other if haunters make up their own projections.
So Baird Manor, Jeff Baird, he just started, well, actually like a couple of years ago, him and I think it was his nephew, did their really nice projection mapping show, and they made their own, like they filmed themselves, did the green screen. He is now there's a couple of resources that are actually teaching, they have free and paid portions to teach you projection mapping. And that was the one thing I was going to mention, like the tutorial I used is Philip's Projections on YouTube. Like start to finish, I used his, and there's so many different ways you can like do things, obviously. And his was the one that I followed most closely. Baird Manor, he does both After Effects and DaVinci Resolve, as does Philip's Projection now. Do with 2 L's, Philip's. Here, let me see if I can add something to the chat, right? Because I actually pulled his up.
Yeah.
How? Let's see. Here, I'll do it in the private one.
Okay.
Like, I don't see the bottom.
And I know that we are friends with
Okay, he is amazing. Let me tell you, like he was the one when I first started, and I put the projection on my dining room wall, and it looked all pixelated. And I'm like, this is gonna look like crap when I put it on the house. And I was talking back and forth with him. He's like, send me your file. I'll tell you if it looks right. And he was like, no, it looks fine. So he's super helpful, and he's very creative as well.
Yeah, he's been making, because he's the one who was making the Nightmare Before Christmas characters dance to the different, and he's just giving away for free. He's like, here's the YouTube, here's the file, and you can use it however you want. And I'm like, I'm so knee deep in my haunt already, I can't add this to it. And I'm like, but I love it. But I have another guy who is really into Nightmare Before Christmas, and I was like, here's all this. Give me a little bit of time, and we could probably work with it together, and I can make you something. But I remember that he came up with this. It was that face thing that I think it was After Effects that came up, that it interacts with you.
Yeah.
And it answers your questions, and you can talk to it. So these kids are at the window, and they're talking to this projection that's talking back to them, not a predetermined script. And I like that too. Jeff is a great guy.
And he's just, both of the Jeffs, they're just like so super nice and so willing to help you.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And he's big on, he's in the Atmos Effects group, which we'll show here in a minute. So you can catch him in there too. And he's just, he's in my side of the wood. He's in Huntsville. I saw Huntsville and I was like, oh, Alabama, Utah. So he's in Utah. So you use this projector.
I do.
And it's $1,800. But what are real quickly, what are a couple of things that you really look for when you're looking for a projector for the mapping?
Depending on the color of your house, I would say nothing less than $3,000. Because I have a darker colored house, that's why I went with more than what I was comfortable in the price point, but also, if 4,200 lumens is probably as much as I can afford, because anything beyond that is really expensive.
I saw that.
Yeah. And then the other thing right there, where it has the 0.50 for short throw, it also really depends on how much space you can go back in your yard. And that a 0.5 is probably as short as I can go. There are some that have some 7,000 lumens, but they're a 0.9. So they'd have to go back. I'm sorry, 0.7. So they'd have to go back farther in your yard. And I can't do that. So you're going to have to consider the color of your house, how much room you have in your yard, how far back you can go. If you have 2 feet in front of your house, nothing's going to help you. So.
Right. Yeah. Because I know that I've seen a couple people where they've put their projectors across the street.
Which I would never feel comfortable with that.
Right.
but there are some, like, I mean, I guess it depends on, but you also have to figure out, like, where is the placement, because mine is low. Mine is on the ground. So a lot of people will put theirs in something that is like a pole that is in the ground. And I can't do that because I have an HOA. So I'll be very mindful of the things I can do. Right. But the other thing to think about, and I'm sure everybody, or not everybody, but people have, with regular projections, is your street lights. I have a street light that is literally at the end of my driveway. So that's kind of a pain. But if your neighbor's house has one of those like super bright security LEDs cameras now that lights up your whole house, you're going to be disappointed with how the projection looks, because it's going to be like, you can tell like on the right side of my house is not as bright as the left side, because that's where the street light is.
My house is up on a big 25-foot wall. So, like, all I see are my neighbor's roofs. So nobody would see my house.
No.
You can't drive past my house.
So you're like the king and queen of the neighborhood, where you're looking down.
Literally, when Micah's here, that's exactly what Micah says. When he's here, he stays on the 3rd floor, which is even higher up. And he's like, every morning I wake up and look down on all the people. And I'm like, shut up.
You need to get, the next time Micah comes there, you need to get like a really long, like yellow sheet or something like that and hang it from the window.
Oh my God.
Totally. Just in case you need to get down, you can climb out the window. So here is your Philips production, projections. We will put these all in. I will put all these links in the YouTube video of this. And probably on the 2 Facebook pages as well. I will load those. I'll load up a bunch of links here after the show, so you can catch that on all the different social stuff. But yeah, I'm a subscriber of his too. I probably could have looked on my things, but yeah. So look, but he gives away free stuff as well, and then he's got a lot of different things to get yourself acclimated with
If you go into playlists, I think that he has like the one that's like so the DaVinci Resolve one's the newer ones, but there is one that's like, so projection mapping basics might be the one. Yeah, that one. But I mean, his stuff is like, I followed it to a T.
Nice. I've wanted to do it. I've never, really the cost of the projector is what has stopped me from doing it. I can spend $300 on a 12-foot witch, but 1,500, I don't know how I can get that over with my wife. So we have that, and let's see what else do we have here. We'll start going through your socials so people know where to find you. Close off my chats here. People are messaging me. How dare they? She has a private page. Let's not go there. Let's do Instagram.
I love it.
Sometimes people have pages. They're okay with people. Because you don't have a Facebook page for the haunt.
No, and I was going to create one when we started talking, and then I just ran out of time.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I just want people to know all the different places.
I probably still will, just to put some.
Well, I know there's programs that will allow you to post to like Instagram, Facebook, and all those at one time. So you're getting, you don't have to go to all three things or whatever.
Yes.
To do that. So you have Haunting with Tricia is the Instagram, and you'd say that's probably where you put most of your stuff, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So go here first, and you can see all the different videos and everything. And then the YouTube is Haunting with Tricia. Super easy to find. There is not enough subscribers. Come on, people. Come on. Thousands. This should say 12,272. Come on. So we've got some playlists. She's good with the playlist. Look at this. This is good. It looks nothing like mine. Mine looks like a jumbled mess. She actually takes time. I mean, look at her thumbnails and everything. I mean, look at that. That's top notch marketing on YouTube right there. And yes, and she has this flow code thing. I'm gonna have to get into this. I like this. You were featured on Atmos Effects. They're a fan.
That was cool.
Is cool.
That's really cool.
They talk about all the different things you do. Did they when you won that, did they contact you for all this information, or did you just kind of send it over?
You do like a submission that you give like parts of it. I was really impressed with all that they wrote. I was like, dang, they took like my little blurb and made it like this wonderful story. So they got some good writers.
right.
They really do.
Right. Yeah.
It's funny that. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say that I've worked with those guys up in Seattle, several times on, they've sponsored things of ours, so I've talked to them a lot. They're all great people there at that company.
Yeah, it was pretty cool reading what they wrote. Yeah. But it was funny because like we talked about, you mentioned I for the longest time, like it was like Halloween threw up in my yard and I didn't have any rhyme or reason. It was just like I got stuff and it just went in the yard. And now like I'm actually making it cohesive with the projection mapping but also like actually doing themes of my yard. Like I used to have like, I don't know why I did this. I had the witch on the porch, a cauldron in the garage, like cats over here. And I'm like, last year, I'm like, why do I not have this all together? So I'm getting better. It's not so much like Halloween throw up in the yard as I'm trying to have a plan now.
Right. And yeah, like she said, she uses, I don't know why this is, there it goes. She uses Photoshop for, doing the actual map of the house.
Mm-hmm.
Did you like take a picture of the house and then like have it next to you and then you kind of drew it as you went, or did you just do it off memory?
Oh no. So when before I got the projector, because you have to have the projector to be like, when you're creating the actual map, you have to have the projector exactly where it's going to be in the yard.
Okay.
But I wanted to see if I could do After Effects, if I could create these maps. So I did go out into my yard before I got a projector and I like squatted down as low as I could get and thinking I'd be in like the direction of where the projector was, took a picture, made a map from that. And then just made one video in After Effects to see if I could do it. Got the projector after I felt comfortable and had to redo the entire map, which was fine. Like it was in Photoshop. So right. Versus like, I know like Digital Pressworks has a tool where you can do your own map, but I believe it's just like a JPEG or a PNG. Whereas in Photoshop, I have all my stuff in layers. So I could, even though I'd done it already, I just had to like tweak things. I'd scoot like this wall, you know, over here because I didn't have one single image. I had everything in layers.
Yep.
So that's one reason I recommend using Photoshop for your map versus just drawing a static like image that you'd have to redraw the entire thing
every time. Yeah. And so yes, you talked about After Effects. You use Final Cut Pro. Obviously, if you have a Mac, you can use that. I think you can. Can you use Final Cut on PCs? I don't know if you can.
Think so.
I don't know. I know that I use Filmora for all of my editing, and it's similar to yours in that it's got the different tracks and layers and all that kind of stuff. Obviously, you know when you start to get into this, you know, go off because I don't know how to do all this stuff. Go off the videos that we talked about, on her channel and on Philip's there. So you can, chances are if you're getting into projection mapping, you probably don't do, video editing, or you probably would already know which one you're going to use. So if you're comfortable with one that, that can do that, then use that one. So I think that
I got one more since we went on.
One more. Oh, you did. It does. It's at 273. Oh, you know what? I know who that is. It was Leanne.
Yay!
So George wants to know, how many projectors do you have? I assume now that you have the projection mapping, how many more on outside of that?
I have 11 now because I had 10 before I did projection mapping. So I added one more. Then last year I only used, I want to say 4 or 5.
Okay.
One, because the projection mapping took up what was 6 before.
Okay.
But then I still did the eyes in my car, the pumpkins in the yard. I have a Hallusion. Where'd Susie go? I have an archway in the yard, so I do Hallusion there. And that was it. So yeah, I think that was 4.
Nice. Okay.
And then this year I'm going to try and do some other things with those because I have so many now. Like I have to figure out something to do with the other ones, but that's why I want to know that tool that you have so I can easily
I will definitely
start those other ones.
Yeah, I will definitely get that in there. So Sean says he can't wait to dive into your how-to videos. I agree. Her videos are great. They're well put together, and they're fun to watch. So definitely check out her page there.
Yes.
DJ said it grew 4. So you had 269. You had 268 before we started tonight. So that's good. Let's see if we reload. Do we get another 276? Oh, I'm not sharing it. Dang it! That was anticlimactic. Here, I'll make it look like this again.
Boom.
Let's see. 276. All right. Woo! Nice.
Thanks, everyone.
So thank you for coming on the show tonight.
Thank you.
A little different than normal, but we still had a lot of fun.
Yes.
And once I saw your video when you submitted for the award show, I was like, we have to have projection mapping on. We've never had anybody that does projection mapping, and I love that it was you.
Thank you. I know when you reached out, I was like, am I going to have enough to fill up at that time? So look at us.
Everybody does. Everybody does. Because we have fun and we banter.
Yes, we did.
So,
thank you so much.
Sean says, did you upload your DVDs into MP4s? Oh, the old ones.
Oh, the old ones? Yes. So I used, hold on, what did I use Wondershare, is it Uni converter, and you can download. Oh, yes. Yes. So you can do DVDs in that. So my older ones, because I was like, oh my God, I've got all these DVDs. I would need these. So I did that. And then I also use that for YouTube. If there's any clips or anything I want to get off YouTube and to download, it does that both in that software.
Yep. Yep, that's how I don't use that specific program. I use a different one to grab all the videos because we've had problems last year. I was running videos off of YouTube for this show, and it would cycle, and because I have so much going on while I'm doing the show, so I'm like, okay, that's not working. So I had to download everybody's video, and then I play them on media players, and then I can put them in order and all that kind of stuff. So then I know that it plays with no issues. Because a couple times last year we had some that just sat there, and we were like, we want to see what's going on, and I'm like, I'm trying.
I thought you were gonna say it went to like a video that you wouldn't have wanted.
Yeah, all you have to do is click 3 times on the right side of YouTube, and you're getting somewhere you shouldn't be. So.
Yes.
So, but yeah, George says amazing map.
Oh, thank you.
That's good. Yep, we got lots of fans of yours in here now. So
thank you.
So thank you for coming on. And I think next week we have. I didn't load my calendar.
When does the pirate person come on? That or the pirate ship? Are they the season finale?
That is. Look at you! Look at you jumping ahead.
I'm sorry. Okay. I don't know next week, but I did know.
Next week is Denise Montgomery, and they do a fundraiser one, and they are in Canada. And I believe that this is the one where it spans several yards. Like it's not just her house; it's several yards long. So we'll have to, but it's all a big charity fundraiser. And so we will talk to Denise next week, and then we have the pirates, those nasty, dirty pirates.
I'm excited to watch that.
I know, yeah, that'll be good. And that'll be our technical last show. We'll probably have another show after that, after Labor Day weekend. We'll probably have an end of the season show. So possibly 3 more shows, but for sure 2 more. So all right. Well, thank you for being on tonight, and
thank you again.
Have a good night tonight.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you all for joining us. Bye.
All right. Bye.